Let's see if Diablo 4 has some actual endgame for us, or if it's still like just KW. Okay. We know you can do good visuals, that's nice.
We're really excited about getting this game into players' hands and letting them experience this massive world.
A main cornerstone of D4 is play your way. As a player continues to advance through the
Dude, is the audio the audio seems kind of weird to me, I don't know why.
story and into the endgame, they'll unlock a ton of brand new activities that provide meaningful progression, no matter their playstyle.
Players to be able to keep progressing in the narrative of the game. Alongside that, the whole team has worked on
Okay, it's just like trash talk so far.
Experiences players can pursue.
We're going to have an entire world of Sanctuary for
Finish the campaign.
Shit.
There's a lot more game to go and participate in. They gain access to a special, what we call capstone dungeon that they have to complete. Once they're able to finish this capstone dungeon, they're going to gain access to the first world tier.
As you complete the world tier, it will open up the opportunity for you to go into your next world tier.
Wait, cap dungeon. Wait, what? Cap dungeon. No cap.
Unlocking powerful loot.
This already looks better, like, different than on the beta.
To go into your next
I mean, journalist mode, normal mode, elite ultimate, right? That's how it's how it works here. Yeah. No cap dungeon. Yeah, I thought it's only like you have to become level 50, and then like at level 50. I mean, I guess maybe at level 50 you have to do the cap dungeon on top now.
next world tier.
I mean,
that involves
why
unlocking
not?
powerful loot, new items, and more advantages for your player to have a better opportunity at end game.
Whether you're
Makes
a fan
sense.
of dungeons, PvP, or just roaming around the world, there's a way to continue your Diablo adventure long after hitting max level. As your character continues to grow in power, you'll start with the skill tree and expand out into the Paragon system.
A lot of the choices the players make are grounded on skills themselves and the fantasies associated with those skills. The Paragon boards
Okay, what do we have here? +5 main stat, let's go. Okay.
make are grounded on skills themselves and the fantasies associated with those skills.
+5 dex. Normal node. +5 strength. Normal node. And these are like travel nodes, right? I mean, this is the dex node, this is the strength node. But like, where the fuck is he traveling to? Like here? Let's see what that is.
Paragon boards place
+5
have
int,
a
okay.
lot more depth
Wait, what was that?
themselves and the fantasies
Cheap
associated
shot.
with those skills. The Paragon boards place have a lot.
You do 5% increased damage for each nearby enemy that is crowned. Dude, it's the same as an Apex. What? I mean, okay, it's at least not +5 main stat, right? It's at least not +5 main stat, but it's you do 5% increased damage for each nearby enemy that is crowd controlled up to 25%. So it's basically like melee and CC. How do you do that against bosses? I guess something like slow still work. Ah, it's the same, he just picked it. Okay.
More depth, a lot more
Is this like a rogue tree? Cheap shot? Might be a rogue tree, yeah.
customization, many more options.
Dex,
as you go.
dex,
You can
int.
rotate the board, so you can choose a different path if you're like, I want to do more strength based.
That's cool though, they took that from Volson, right? You can rotate the Paragon boards and like put them together in different ways, that's cool. I mean, it's cool if you have actual choice, and I mean, this is strength, int, strength. No, this is dex, strength, int, strength. Dude, if you look at the board, right? I mean, it looks cool and all, but it's all like travel nodes so far, except like, I mean, the cheap shot was like what, like a major? No, hopefully like only like a minor
Things.
non-travel node.
I want these particular boons or glyphs. You can chart your path through it, and they're really a way for you to.
Plus willpower, 50 armor, 7 strength. I mean, here we go. Those are
particular boons or glyphs. You can
not +5 main set at least.
your path
Willpower. I mean, it's actually not. It's also main stat, right?
through it, and
That's armor. That's like defense, like attack and
they're really
defense.
a way for you to.
+7 strength. Wait, so the only difference between like this normal gray node and the blue node is like it gives you +2 strength.
These particular boons or glyphs. You can chart your path through it, and they're
It's a magic node. Here we go.
Really
Magic
away-
node. Literally gives you no magic, but like 7 strength instead of 5. Okay, dude.
You to keep expanding your character and making it uniquely yours.
Similar to the Paragon boards is the Codex of Power. It's an in-game
Wait, that's it? That's all they're gonna show us for Paragon board?
system that holds the aspects related to the character. You are able to complete a dungeon, and they will have a chance to drop an
They showed us one node, cheap shot, right? Everything else was +5 strength, pretty much.
aspect that you can pick up.
And what this allows players to do is take items they're finding in the world and make them more powerful, turn them into legendary items.
It's really special to discover what kind of playstyle really
I mean,
means
yeah,
the most
we know
to you.
that. Nightmare dungeons, here we go.
Every part of Sanctuary is fulfilling and satisfying. Dungeons in particular are really close to my heart. Nightmare
Dude, is the video lagging or am I lagging? What's going on? It feels laggy.
Dungeons are going to give the players the opportunity
the recording
to experience
laggy?
a dungeon that they might have already
Like the
experienced
in-game
in
recording.
their past playthroughs. They'll enter the dungeon with a found sigil
Dude,
that
need
alters
quick,
the
pog.
playstyle and the intensity of the dungeon.
They're more difficult and they have additional objectives.
Maybe my brain is
and then they
laggy,
also
yeah.
have affixes, which add a degree of difficulty for you and your group to work through.
One of my favorite affixes that you can find in Nightmare Dungeons is actually called Hellgate. Occasionally, these portals will open up throughout the area that will just pour out different monsters that aren't native to that region for you to also be dealing with while you're trying to handle everything else inside the dungeon.
I mean, sure, that's
There's over
like
100
that's like more interesting than like all enemies have like +10 fire damage, for sure. That's like a cool affix. It's almost like a mini season mechanic, like attached to like an affix. Like it's not bad at all. I mean, that's totally fine. Over 120. Wait, I thought it's like 150 or 180. Did they like cut down on that already? But there's still as much copy paste.
20 dungeons to play through and find in Diablo 4, and
I mean, over 120 means there's not more than 130, right? Usually, when you word it like that, it's like some number between 120 and 130 usually, but never more than that.
any one of them can become a nightmare dungeon by finding a nightmare sigil and then using it to activate the nightmare version of that dungeon space.
Everything's a little darker, everything's more difficult. It's going to add a little bit of a twist of flavor on your particular dungeon.
There's some targeted activities in Diablo 4.
It is
that
laggy,
suit
isn't
what
it?
you're feeling in the mood for.
The Forces of Hell are starting to have more influence in certain parts of Sanctuary and the vast interconnected overworld that we experience. And as the players are going into Helltide areas, you're going to find even more powerful monsters. And by killing them, they'll be able to gain these special shards they can take to go and use to purchase these big rewards that are available at these caches that are found literally throughout Helltide areas.
The sky darkens.
Dude, it's like they recorded the gameplay on a console, right? Like 30 FPS capped, and then like because of the recording, it still lags on top.
And the rivers run red, meteors fall from the sky.
I mean, at least some of the
and
recording. This one
monsters
seems
get
fine.
harder. You really want to create new experiences for the players. There's one I really like called Whispers of the Dead, which you get from the Tree of Whispers. The Tree of Whispers is grim and a little gruesome, but it's also something mystically haunting and kind of beautiful.
The tree has a little bit of a grudge against our players and it would like for them to go serve its needs. So you're going to go serve these bounties, gather different rewards, different items, and bring them back to the tree in hopes that it can exchange you something really meaningful.
I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, a bounty system exists in like any RPG in a way. Like it has, like Red Dawn has it, Diablo 3 has it, right? Like adventure mode and so on. I mean, the tree makes it a bit more like artistically beautiful, I would say. The system itself is, I mean, depending on what the bounties are exactly, it can be just the same or maybe like more innovative. We'll see. But
Maybe you're going to go to the Fractured Peaks and take out some werewolves that are rampaging in a town. They're contained activities that you can do alone or in a group.
so it's pretty much the same as like those word events. It's just like the tree tells you which word event to like specifically do, instead of like you just wandering the world and like doing the word event that you like meet. Okay.
We wanted to create variety for people to be able to spend time where they
It's still better
wanted
than
to
Grim
in the world.
Dawn
It's very
bounties,
cool the way it's
but
been put
not
together.
much.
I can't wait for people to see it.
I mean, it's okay, I guess. Like it does combine like the world events, like I guess nicely into like a more meaningful system, so it's fine, I guess.
In Diablo 4, we have a focus on the world
too
of
bad.
Sanctuary. And there are parts of that world that we call the Fields of Hatred, where Lilith's presence in Sanctuary has begun to seep through and manifest these poisonous areas throughout the world. When players go to these regions, they get to engage in player versus player conflict.
These offer opportunities for the player to collect shards. But there is a little bit of a catch. In order to get these shards back to town, you'll need to purify them. Other players will definitely know that you're attempting to purify your shards, so you'd better be prepared to fight if you're going to be playing any PvP, and be prepared that you might lose some stuff in the meantime.
Once they
That's kind of cool. I hope you, I mean, do you die for good in hardcore if you do this? This is kind of cool though, right? Like you have like areas that are corrupted periodically, I guess. Hopefully you won't have to plan your entire work-life balance around like farming the area that is corrupted at a certain time of the week, because only that area gives you like what you want. Hopefully it's not like that, but assuming they all are more like the same reward-wise, but you can like still, I mean, you basically like change scenery then at least. That's kind of cool. And then they implemented PvP as well, where so you kill monsters, get shards, and then you have to manually walk back to purify the shards, and during that time you can basically
that we
get
call the Fields
ganked.
of Hatred, where Lilith's presence in Sanctuary has begun to seep through and manifest these poisonous areas throughout the world. When players go to these regions, they get to engage
Poisonous
in player
areas.
versus player conflict.
These offer opportunities for the player to collect shards, but there is a little bit of a catch.
Oh, it doesn't say like how you get the shards, but I mean this figure here is killing a monster, so I guess
These
like you
offer
just
opportunities for the player
you
to
get
collect
shards by like killing
but
players
there
and by
is a
killing
little bit of a
mobs, I
catch.
guess.
In order to get these shards back to town, you'll need to purify them. Other players will definitely know that you're attempting to purify your shards, so you'd better be prepared.
I mean, so people are gonna camp wherever you have to purify your shards, right?
Prepared to fight if you're going to be playing any PvP, and be prepared that you might lose some stuff in the meantime.
Once they've got
And there's gonna be like groups of people that specifically like gank players to try to purify to like get their shards. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what's gonna happen, right? And what is party size? Like 4 or something like that? I mean, sure, it's maybe only 4, but then it's like different parties maybe like grouping together as well.
purified shards, they can
group
take these,
ganking
go
pretty
back
much
to
probably.
nearby towns to sell them, and then use that to buy a whole bunch of like interesting cosmetic items and rewards.
It's a
Okay, so this is basically like either you're like in a guild or you get fucked, right?
place for people who really love PvP and want to still get loot and still increase their character's power. If that's the way they want to play, they can.
Okay, as long as it's not mandatory though, like as long as you can just like ignore that entire mechanic and still progress your character without the need of those shards, then it's fine, because you could just like ignore whichever area is like poisonous on the map, right? And like just don't go there and like go to all the others, whereas PvP players just go to that one. Yeah. Join Asmongold's guild or you're fucked.
Is just the beginning. One of the things we're really focused on is creating a living, breathing set of updates.
Yeah, they didn't talk about the level scaling or like how like the player power is being like adjusted to each other. It's like it should be somewhat equalized, right? Otherwise it's like completely, I mean, maybe it's not, maybe it's just like high level players can fuck over low level players at any point. But if it's equalized, it would be nice to know like in which way it's equalized. Like is only level equalized, is itemization also equalized? How MMO equalization based are they gonna go here, or I don't know. I mean, I kind of don't like equalization in a way in an ARPG, but if you don't equalize at all, then of course like the strong players are gonna like fuck over the weaker ones. However, you could still like solve that in a way by grouping, by only like, I mean, these open worlds, right? They're not like completely open world. Like you don't see like everybody else playing. You only see like a specific group of like a specific like a specific amount of people, right? So if the matchmaking, right? If there was like matchmaking behind the scenes, like properly matching people of like the same level in a zone together, like with the same like. I mean, I guess Diablo 4 has simple itemization, so you could just like say eye level as well, right? Like that have like a. That are like within a similar range of like level as well as like eye level, then it could still work
Players to engage with
without
after the game has
equalization.
gone live.
It's really just going to be a way to keep coming.
How would they do that without loading screens? They already do that in the open world right now. Like if you travel from like a town outside of a town, right, you have a loading screen basically. Like sometimes you will see like all of a sudden like in a new region like different players pop in, right? Like unless you're in the same group, I don't think like. Yeah, you can view this. I mean, there are no loading screens, but there are loading screens. You just don't see them really. I mean, you can feel them.
back and experiencing more Diablo 4 in fresh ways.
We're really eager to hear all of your experiences
Okay,
and
that's
just
it, alright.
enjoy the entire story
Yeah,
with
that's
you
it.
all.
That's a cool world boss.
To hear all of your experiences and just enjoy the
At least visually cool. Is this Bone Zone? Revenge of the Bone Zone.
entire story with you all.
That's cool. Okay, okay. Play now, pre-order now. No, don't actually do that. Don't actually do that. Okay, wait, what's the frickin' like
Out into the paradise.
node actually like a legendary node?
Options as you go.
Where is it?
You can
Allow you to have a lot more.
It's actually wait, this is actually a legendary node. Are you fucking kidding me? How is this? Do you what? I mean, legendary node is gonna be like the highest tier, like at least the second to highest. And considering like how they throw around the legendary word like left and right, right and left, I would not be surprised if it's actually like the second to highest tier. But I mean, it's like, okay, I mean, it's like normal node, right, are the gray ones. The blue ones are magic nodes, the other ones are rare nodes, and then this one is obviously an orange node, so it is legendary.
Depth, a lot.
And if you look at the entire board, there's like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yellows, one single orange, and it's the cheap shot that does nothing. There's this red thing, which, I don't know, maybe it's like a... Dude, maybe this is like a super complex like socket for like a gem that you put in, and then like this gem has like an entire new skill tree. I mean, no, that's what would be PoE, right? That's not Diablo. Too bad. Yeah, okay. I mean, so what is this? Hey, that's all. What? Oh, wait, okay. No comment.